Welcome, friends. We are absolutely thrilled to have you here. Today, you're about to uncover one of the most powerful, emotional, and awe-inspiring stories hidden in the pages of the Bible. This is the tale of Abigail, a woman of beauty, wisdom, and unshakable courage, trapped in a marriage with a fool, only to rise and become the wife of a future king. Her story is filled with suspense, divine intervention, and destiny-defining decisions. So sit tight, and let your heart lean in. If you crave more inspiring, soul-lifting content like this, don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey. Nation's presents to you. She was married to a fool, then became the wife of King David, the untold story of Abigail. In this video, we will explore the unforgettable story of Abigail, a woman whose wisdom saved lives, whose courage challenged kings, and whose faith changed her destiny. Get ready to dive into the emotional journey of a woman married to a fool, yet chosen by a future king. You'll discover 1. The painful reality of Abigail's marriage to Nabal. 2. The dramatic insult that nearly sparked a war. 3. Abigail's bold and dangerous intervention. 4. The powerful speech that stopped King David's wrath. 5. The divine judgment that ended Nabal's life. 6. The royal proposal that changed everything. 7. And how Abigail's legacy still speaks to us today. Let's begin, and don't forget to subscribe for more life-changing stories. What happens when wisdom lives with a fool? How does a woman survive a toxic marriage, protect her people, and still find favor with a king? Abigail's life was marked by danger, dishonor, and divine destiny. Caught between a reckless husband and a furious future king, her choices could either spark a massacre or rewrite her fate. This is a story of courage under pressure, faith in the fire, and the kind of strength that changes everything. In a house ruled by folly, grace was trapped in silence. A king's request was scorned, and blood whispered on the wind. One woman, cloaked in wisdom, rode into the storm. Her words, like balm, calmed the wrath of a warrior's heart. Fate turned as the fool fell, and honor found her at the gates. From widow's ashes rose a queen, crowned not by beauty, but by courage, and a heart aligned with heaven's will. She was the wife of a rich fool, trapped in a loveless union, silenced by arrogance, and surrounded by danger. When a king's wrath burned hot and bloodshed loomed, one woman dared to stand in the path of vengeance. With trembling hands and fearless faith, Abigail rode alone, risking everything to speak peace into the heart of a warrior. Her voice stopped a sword. Her wisdom saved a nation. And when the dust settled, destiny knocked. From dishonor to royalty, from survival to legacy, this is not just a Bible story. This is the rise of a queen. Now let's dive deep into this unforgettable story, a journey marked by pain, power, and providence. As we peel back the layers of Abigail's life, you'll witness a woman's battle between dignity and danger, wisdom and wrath, fate and faith. Every moment builds toward a destiny she never saw coming. So lean in, open your heart, and walk with us through the turning points that transformed a silenced wife into a queen remembered for generations. Abigail was no ordinary woman. She radiated grace and beauty, but it was her sharp intelligence and quiet strength that truly set her apart. In a world where women often had little voice, Abigail's wisdom shone brightly, like a calm lighthouse in a stormy sea. Yet, her life was shadowed by the man she was bound to, Nabal. A wealthy landowner, Nabal was the very opposite of Abigail's gentle wisdom. He was arrogant, harsh, and reckless, a fool blinded by pride and selfishness. His cruel tongue and reckless behavior sowed discord and fear. This stark contrast between Abigail's grace and Nabal's folly created a tension that ran deep beneath the surface of their marriage. Abigail's wisdom was often overshadowed, her voice suppressed in the house ruled by a man who cared little for kindness or reason. But within her heart burned a quiet resilience, a strength waiting to rise. This clash of character set the stage for a story of courage, danger, and destiny, a story where a woman's brilliance would soon challenge a king's fury. In the harsh wilderness, David and his men found themselves vulnerable, hungry, weary, and in desperate need of allies. Remembering the past kindness of Nabal's household, David sent his men humbly to ask for provisions, expecting goodwill in return. But Nabal's response shattered all hope. Instead of gratitude, he met them with contempt and scorn, publicly insulting David's men and mocking their loyalty. His words were like a slap in the face, not just to those who had protected his lands, but to a future king. The insult was more than just rude. It was a challenge that awakened a fierce fire within David. Once a shepherd boy, now a warrior king, David's wrath burned hot and deadly. The weight of dishonor, pride, and betrayal stirred a storm inside him. The peaceful hope of mercy vanished, replaced by visions of bloodshed and revenge. With swords drawn and fury in his eyes, David prepared to unleash destruction on Nabal's household. The air thickened with tension, the suspense of imminent violence hanging heavy. Would Abigail's wisdom come in time to stop a king's wrath from destroying everything? When Abigail heard the terrifying news that David's wrath was about to unleash devastation on her household, panic surged through her veins, but it was quickly replaced by fierce determination. She knew she couldn't wait for her foolish husband's reckless pride to cause ruin. Alone and unarmed, Abigail made a bold, courageous decision. She would confront the furious king herself. Without hesitation, she gathered precious gifts, abundant provisions of food and wine, knowing that her offerings could be the only hope to calm a raging storm. Each step of her preparation was fueled by urgency and faith, a silent prayer that her bravery would be enough to halt disaster. There was no time to lose. Mounting her donkey, Abigail rode swiftly into the unknown, heart pounding against the weight of what she faced. Ahead waited a man consumed by anger, ready to spill blood. Yet, she refused to shrink back. Her courage was a beacon in the darkness, an act of love and wisdom against the edge of destruction. In that moment, Abigail's strength would change the course of history. As Abigail approached David, tension hung thick in the air. Here stood a woman, fearless and humble, ready to face a king consumed by wrath. With calm wisdom and heartfelt humility, she spoke words that would forever echo through history. Abigail's plea wasn't just a request, it was a prophetic insight born of faith and courage. She reminded David of the consequences of vengeance, urging him to see beyond his anger and recognize a higher purpose guided by God's will. Her voice wove peace into the fabric of fury, painting a vision of mercy over destruction. Abigail positioned herself as a peacemaker, standing between a king and needless bloodshed, her words a lifeline not only for her household but for an entire nation. She humbled herself, taking responsibility for her husband's folly, while lifting David to choose honor over violence. David listened. His fury began to soften, replaced by honor and admiration for this woman's spirit and courage. He restrained his wrath, choosing mercy over massacre. In that moment, Abigail's speech did more than save lives, it altered the destiny of a kingdom. As Abigail approached David, tension hung thick in the air. Here stood a woman, fearless and humble, ready to face a king consumed by wrath. With calm wisdom and heartfelt humility, she spoke words that would forever echo through history. Abigail's plea wasn't just a request, it was a prophetic insight born of faith and courage. She reminded David of the consequences of vengeance, urging him to see beyond his anger and recognize a higher purpose guided by God's will. Her voice wove peace into the fabric of fury, painting a vision of mercy over destruction. Abigail positioned herself as a peacemaker, standing between a king and needless bloodshed, her words a lifeline not only for her household but for an entire nation. She humbled herself, taking responsibility for her husband's folly, while lifting David to choose honor over violence. David listened. His fury began to soften, replaced by honor and admiration for this woman's spirit and courage. He restrained his wrath, choosing mercy over massacre. In that moment, Abigail's speech did more than save lives, it altered the destiny of a kingdom. While Abigail raced to meet the angry king, Nabal remained oblivious, feasting arrogantly in his grand halls, blind to the storm gathering around him. His heart was hardened by pride and ignorance, deaf to warnings and deafening in his foolishness. But truth has a way of breaking through even the thickest walls. When Nabal finally learned what his reckless words had nearly unleashed, his stubbornness gave way not to repentance but to a cold, unyielding hardness, a heart turned to stone. And then, in a moment that shook the household, divine justice struck swiftly and decisively. Without sword or battle, without human hands raising a weapon, Nabal was taken by sudden death, a powerful reminder that God's judgment does not require mortal violence to execute his will. Justice had met foolishness in its purest form, ending the threat before it could spread. Abigail's courage and faith were vindicated, and a deadly chapter closed not by war, but by the hand of divine justice, quiet, absolute, and final. After Nabal's sudden death, the world around Abigail shifted dramatically, yet it was David's eyes that saw her true worth. In a time when women were often judged by their status or beauty alone, David recognized something rare in Abigail, a heart filled with wisdom, courage, and unwavering faith. She was more than a survivor. She was a woman destined for greatness. Moved by her bravery and spirit, David sent a proposal, not just an offer of marriage, but an invitation to share a future built on respect, honor, and purpose. For Abigail, this was more than a new beginning, it was a profound transformation. With humility and grace, she accepted the proposal, stepping forward from the shadows of a painful past into the light of a promising destiny. From the silence of a troubled marriage to the halls of royalty, Abigail's journey was a testament to the power of resilience and divine timing. What began in conflict and fear blossomed into a legacy, one where dishonor was replaced by destiny, and a once suppressed voice became a queen's anthem. Life with David was no simple fairy tale. From the start, Abigail navigated the complex world of royalty, a place filled with tension, power struggles, and daunting expectations. Yet, through every challenge, she carried herself with unwavering grace and quiet strength. Abigail's wisdom was no longer hidden, it became a guiding light in the palace, influencing decisions and shaping a legacy that would echo through generations. Her courage in the face of danger and her faith in God's plan never wavered. Abigail was more than a queen by title, she was a queen by spirit, one who brought peace where there could have been chaos, and wisdom where there might have been folly. Her story reminds us that true strength often comes wrapped in humility, and that faith paired with courage can change the course of history. As we reflect on Abigail's journey, from a silenced wife to a queen whose voice shaped a kingdom, we learn invaluable lessons about resilience, bravery, and the power of standing firm in one's convictions, no matter the odds. Her story teaches us that even in the darkest moments, strength and grace can change everything. Reflective question. 1. What qualities in Abigail's story do you find most inspiring or relevant today? 2. How do you think courage and wisdom can change the outcome of difficult situations? 3. In what ways does Abigail's story challenge or encourage your understanding of faith and resilience? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. Thank you for staying with us through the incredible journey of Abigail, a woman whose courage, wisdom, and faith turned a story of chaos into one of hope and legacy. I believe this story has moved you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more captivating revelations from the Bible and beyond. Together, let's continue uncovering the powerful stories that inspire us all.